Hey, 7 grains of salt. Uusimaa is closed. That's right. Even if you don't live in this area, just hear me out. Borders are closed to Russia, Sweden, Estonia, just like many other countries are experiencing right now. So this is nothing that you're not aware of. But now they've closed the roads out of this Uusimaa area that I shared with you yesterday. And unless you have permission from your employer, you're not going in or going out. They have closed us in. And it reminds me of back in the World War II. Yeah, that's where I'm going. Many of you might not think of it as intense as this, but that was Germany from the east to the west. You had to have permission going in and out. Well, maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but are we heading in that direction? Martial law, the beginning phases, this is the area that they've closed off now, and you're not going in or out. While they were having a discussion in just the past few days, I think it might have been on Thursday, look what's in the background. Owls. Well, anyone who has researched symbolism knows that that is one of their main symbols, is the owl. Why would they have that? I don't know. It has nothing to do with the coronavirus at all. I don't know, but people are wearing masks. Some have even been spotted wearing a whole hazmat suit while walking their dogs. Yes, it's good to be cautious. I'm not saying that, but I think I don't understand. But let's just look how quickly they added plexiglass signs and other signs in the stores where they didn't have this before in Finland. No, they didn't. So they have it now in the info desks, and they also have it at now the registers, which they never did before. Also the signs here saying, thank you customer for keeping your distance from other shoppers and also our staff. Thank you. So you're to stand behind this line while then the other person is up here loading their groceries on the little trolley thing. I mean, that's quite a distance, and then the lines are going to be long, but they aren't. I'll have to take a video clip next time. There's really nobody at the stores. So I don't know about you, but I feel like this is just a big game, kind of like this hopscotch thing on the floor at this K-store. Will you hop to what they say and do? Or are you going to try and think outside of the box? I don't know. I'm not going to say the word, but here in Finland, these are our figures. So they've closed off all of Finland and all of Uusimaa for just these very few numbers. Okay, yes, it's good to be cautious and stop this and nip it in the bud, as they would say. But I don't know. I'm more skeptical, and I have my other point of view, and I think Christians especially should be thinking of a different point of view, because we do not trust the government. They are talking about the one world system. So, but before I end this, I'm going to add a long clip. If you are ready to listen and watch, please do. I almost forgot to say who it was by, Nicholson, 1968, but I'll add the link so if you want to watch it in its entirety at the end. All right, here we go.
If you don't understand what is going on in this realm, this is why it's so important and why I'm sharing this video. After so many years, I've told you again of the one game. Now I'm trying to help you understand the end game to get to the one game. And this is a possibility of what can come. And again, controlling humanity through technology. And look what's happening now with the coronavirus out now. We've been warning you and warning you for years and years and years. It's all about control. It's just a stepping stone to what I am telling you about of transhumanism in the future. They have to take it in sections. They study the public, see how we react. They roll things out. Is there a mandatory vaccine coming? Who knows? But that'll be based on how the public reacts to what is going on. They study it, and then they roll out the next piece of the project. I'm going to play an interview with Anthony Patch. 2014, guys. I even included this in my documentary. Illuminati, the Black Gold Project, was telling you in 2014 it's all about control of DNA, third strand DNA. Our body is the temple of God, period. You may not believe that, don't want to believe it, but here's the problem. The enemy knows it and believes it, whether you believe it or not. I'm going to play this clip. Also, a quick note. Remember, YouTube took this documentary down that this clip is included in. Illuminati's Black Gold Project that I put out. So pay attention. I'm going to put it in this one as well.
So it sounds far-fetched to the average person who hasn't heard this before, but this is nothing new. But let's go beyond the rabies. Let's talk about people getting a flu shot or getting a avian flu inoculation. There's another very insidious disease, if you will, which is really a man-made disease. It's a biological construct called MERS coronavirus out of the Middle East. It's the Middle East respiratory syndrome. It's made its way into Europe to a certain extent, and eventually, because of air travel, it will reach around the world. It's another example of where inoculations or vaccines are being derived, or they're trying to derive for. That, again, I always like to go all the way to the end. What's the purpose? What's the goal? If you have a man-made or engineered virus, why was it created? Is it simply just to kill people? Well, that's one part of it, but if you go further and you go deeper than that, it is to get people to demand a vaccine, a shot, if you will, or a pill. Why would, if you're in a position of control and of power, of ultimate power, why would you want people to demand a vaccine? Well, it's because something's in the vaccine that you want people to then have as a part of their body. Well, what is in the vaccine that you want everybody to have inside their body? It is a DNA manipulator or modifier. I mentioned earlier third strand DNA. There is already, and you can find this on the internet, in existence, a third strand of DNA constructed of silicon. Again, we go back to the silicon chip in computers. The third strand is made of silicon and is also coated in gold. If you talk about nanotechnology and nano layers, this is extremely thin coating of gold down to a billionth of a millimeter of gold that is coating the silicon from which you are building a third strand of DNA. The purpose of the gold is to increase the surface area around this strand so that more information can be digitally imparted or programmed. You're essentially, what you're doing is you're creating a third strand of DNA. You are transferring that or imparting it into a person's body through a vaccine that that person's demanding because they're afraid of contracting MERS coronavirus or avian flu or whatever it may be. And so the government, if you will, or the powers that be sit back and they kind of chuckle when they say, well, we couldn't have forced people to take this vaccine or to take this hidden third strand of DNA. They would rebel against it. But if we create the problem and present the solution, people will demand the solution. Thus we achieve our ultimate goal of having this DNA in every person changed. Well, let's go deeper. What's the goal? What's the purpose? Yeah, you go around and change everybody's DNA. What do they become? They become a hybrid. The insidious part of this is that once a person is injected, almost immediately their DNA undergoes transformation. almost immediately they lose all awareness of the fact that they've lost their independence, their ability to think on their own, to make decisions on their own, and to affect them on a moral level. Their moral independence, their beliefs, religious, moral, ethical, legal, all of those go away. If you remove the independent thought and that awareness that you've lost your independence is gone, what then do the powers that be do with these new forms of humans, hybrids? They can control them. They can turn them into a serf class. Not S-U-R-F, not surfers, but S-E-R-F, a class of slaves to serve the elite, to serve the Ray Kurzweils of the world who want to achieve immortality, but they need to have labor to manufacture, develop all of the technologies. And they have enough technologies now. The technology, the scientific world, if you will, has reached the level where they don't care about hiding it anymore. Their agenda is so far advanced, both politically, philosophically, their sense of morals, and technologically, that no longer are they worried about you and me as the serf class and the coming serf class. They're not worried about what we think. They're not worried about us rebelling. And in fact, we won't rebel, partly because right now we've been so dumbed down through a variety of mechanisms. But once people demand the virus and they truly are dumbed down to where they've lost that awareness that something's happened to me, now they can do what they want with us. They are achieving what I call the hive mentality, like a beehive. Worker bees, soldier bees, serving the queen. The queen, in my estimation, is this elite class that's in power, and it's not the politicians. Forget the politicians. This has nothing to do with Republicans, Democrats, Tea Party, Libertarians. It has nothing to do with political structure or classes. It has to do with the small group that is in control and has been in control since ancient times.
Now, you may be saying to yourself, you know what, Nicholson, I don't believe in Jesus Christ. I'm not a religious person. I'm not a spiritual person. Okay, I understand it. I get it. So put that on the side and let me talk to you of let's talk basics. Upgrading yourself with technology, mixing yourself with it. Ultimately, it can be hacked, just like any computer program, anything in today's world. I mean, all the time you're hearing about data breaches, information leaking out, being controlled. That's what ultimately is the end game for the enemy. Call it whatever you want. There's a spiritual enemy, there's a physical enemy. They work together in concert in this realm. You don't have to believe that. But back to basics, merging with technology, man and machine, is not a good thing. Am I against technology in general? No, I am not. It's how far it will be taken in the future and how fast it's coming. I had no idea, and so do many other YouTubers that agree with me. They know I told people back in 1999 and 2007 on YouTube about this, and look how far we've come.
And it has come really fast, and it's still going really fast. So if you don't know Christ, please accept him in your heart, but at least I'll add the link to him so you can listen to more. He's got a lot of great information. All right, stay close to Christ. Repent of your sins if you don't have him in your heart. And hope we'll meet in the air one day. God bless. Till next time.